All right, folks. Okay, let's see. So I want to go live today. I've had quite a few conversations, so I'm checking, making sure that I am live. Yes, I see myself. I want to make sure my sound is off. And I just want to have option for comments. Anyways, so I've had a lot of conversations over quite the last few days with people who are kind of in my industry. So, coaches, healers, therapists, soulful entrepreneurs who are struggling in growing their business and having a good time. And, in the end, we all want this. We all want to do our sacred work. We all want to make great money doing our sacred work. And we all want to have a good time doing it. If one of those things is not aligned, then we can't grow our business. It's just not going to happen. So, I've been thinking, this is a realization I've had. I've been thinking about this for a long time, even for myself, seeing what worked, seeing what didn't work, and kind of figuring out my own path in some ways. And I think entrepreneurship is a spiritual practice in some ways. Entrepreneurship is very difficult. It's not easy when you are going in the wrong direction and following everything else and everybody else. And I think that's the big trick. That's the things that we're not being told, because in many ways, society is invested in us staying consumers, learners, always being in a place where we're continually bettering ourselves, continually growing, continually perfecting, learning, investing money, time, energy in other people rather than discovering what really works for us. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ilsa Kantia there. I always skip that part. Um, I help soulful entrepreneurs, healers, coaches to stop spinning, stop struggling, stop chasing the shiny objects and what doesn't work, and to find their unique, aligned, inspired path to a simple, enjoyable, and very successful business that's going to help transform lives, because that's what we're about. We're about transforming lives out there, and is going to also honor their soul and is going to fill their bank account, because like I said, we want to do sacred work, we want to make great money, and we want to have a great time doing it, and doing all of that with a lot more ease, a lot more flow, a lot more creativity and enjoyment. So, by the way, if this feels like if this feels like something that you want, then I offer Soulful Success Breakthrough Sessions, where it's like a full hour with me. I brainstorm with you. We figure out what's keeping you stuck, what's keeping you struggling. We look at we explore, brainstorm what might be your unique path, how to move forward, what's going to move the needle for you, and what's going to feel really easy, really great, really enjoyable in doing it. And then when you do this with me, you'll walk away with a few things for you to do to start getting traction in your work and start moving forward. And then most of the time people ask me how to keep working with me. If you're interested in keeping in working with me some more, then I'll let you know how and what that looks like. But that's not the main theme of this session. We spend literally 50 minutes, 55 minutes talking about you and your business and what needs to happen for you to move forward. So if you want to do that, just put #brainstorm in the comments or send me a message on Messenger. So let me start this live with a story. And this is not a story of a particular client, because this is something I hear repeatedly of people who come to me. So I'm going to call her Ava. She's kind of like a blend of a few clients. But so this is what's going on with Ava. Ava comes to me and she's got a business. She's a healer. She's a holistic practitioner. She is mostly working with clients one-on-one. She's got a few, maybe a small group, something like that. And she's actually making decent money. She's getting traction. It's working. But now she wants help to take her business to the next level. And so Ava goes and finds a coach. She finds someone to help her out there grow her business. And by the time she comes to see me, this is what's happened. She's found this coach, and this coach has started telling her a whole bunch of stuff that she needs to do to grow her business. So in this particular case, I'm thinking of this one person. When she's telling me her story, she's like, "Oh, so my coach said I needed to shift my business model. I started, not taking new clients one-on-one. She had me take a bunch of pictures and start changing all the verbiage on my website and everything I was doing and changing my colors. And by the time Ava comes to me, she essentially doesn't have a business any longer, or her business has literally dwindled, and she is hating every minute of it. It doesn't feel like her. It doesn't sound like her. The picture she's putting up on her Facebook page don't look like her. She's embarrassed to get on calls with people because they're seeing one image and getting somebody else. And it's a shit show, and the whole thing is falling apart. And it becomes really easy for me to see that what happened is Ava gave up herself. And you cannot grow your business if you give up yourself. She started following what somebody else was telling her needed to happen for her to grow her business. And she stopped following her own intuitive guidance, her own heart, her own sense of what felt good. And I asked all of these people, in this case, Ava, I asked her, like, did this feel right to you? And always the answer is no, not really. But this person's really successful. So I figured that's what I needed to do to become more successful, to reach more people, to make more money, to have more of an impact in the world. And in the end, what happens is she ended up having significantly less impact and making less money than what she was making a little while ago. And so, in this case, when this person and I started working together, I trained her to not only go back to what she was doing, to some degree that was working, but if something doesn't feel good, if something doesn't feel right, then it's not hers. It's not her path. It's not going to work for her. So, that's the thing I want to remind people is the answer is always within you. And the more you go out there, for guidance, for feeling good enough, for figuring out what's going to work for you, the more confused, the more lost, and more unworthy you're going to feel. Now, that doesn't mean that there's no place for coaches. I mean, obviously, I'm a coach, but I think coaches are like healers. They're there to help you define your own path. They're there to help you brainstorm so that you can do your own magic, what's working better. They're there to help you figure out a bunch of different things you can do and see what's going to work for you, rather than telling you what to do or telling you exactly how to do it. And, again, the outside world, this society in many ways is invested in keeping us as consumers, in keeping us as learners, in letting us know that we have to continually perfect ourselves in one way or the other. And I think that that's not true. I think that at some point we have to own our brilliance, we have to trust our own gut, and we have to essentially have a unique, simple, reliable way for us to go inside and for us to figure out, is this going to work for me or not? Is this aligned or not? And a lot of us don't have that. So, if you feel a little bit like Ava, if you feel like you're spinning your wheels, you're struggling, you're trying to do all the right things and nothing is working, and you want an easy pass, you want a simple pass, you want a pass that's going to feel really good to you and also get you results, then please take me up on that Soulful Success Breakthrough session. Like, what have you got to lose? Nothing. Just put #brainstorm in the comments or message me. Let me know where you're at, and I'll let you know. if I can help you. And then we'll brainstorm, we'll explore together for an hour. Um, so let me talk a little bit more, and then I'll give you a tip for going in. But this is something I discovered by essentially investing a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy with a lot of coaches, because I decided that I was a therapist. This was where I was back then. I was a therapist and I was intuitive, but I wasn't particularly a business person. And so I decided, because I wasn't a business person, I needed other people to tell me how to be a business person. And so what I discovered in investing with all these different coaches is that they would teach what had worked for them. And what they wouldn't teach was what was most important, is how they got to figure out what worked for them. And by the way, I don't think that that's done on purpose. I actually think that entrepreneurs by nature, we are hard workers, we are tenacious, and a lot of those very successful people that we find out there got to be very successful by a lot of hard work, a lot of tenacity, and a lot of trial and error, and a lot of failure. So at some point, by trying all these different things, they actually found what was working for them. And of course, when they find what's working for them, they figure out that that's what works in the market right now, and that's what they teach. But a lot of these coaches, mentors, are actually not understanding. They lack a certain level of insight that what has worked for them will not automatically work for someone else. So they're teaching a particular way of being as an entrepreneur, they're teaching a strategy, and then they're getting a lot of people who are getting no results and being very frustrated. I'm in a program right now, and I'm not going to name it. This is actually, she's a wonderful coach. It's a very big program, very expensive program. Um, and I'm surprised how many people are really struggling and getting no results and getting more and more frustrated. It feels like every month there's like a mini crisis in there. And partially it's because the strategy that's being taught, honestly, doesn't work for most people. And I don't think that the coach had a sense that that was true. My sense is that because a lot of these business coaches learn by trial and error, by hard work, by tenacity. That's what they teach. They teach tenacity, and they teach a strategy that they finally fell on that worked for them. Problem is, I'm super lazy. That doesn't work for me. I don't want to have to do things that I dislike. I don't want to have to do a shit ton of things that won't work before figuring out what's going to work for me. And when I started realizing what was happening, I stopped and started going in and started figuring out what was working for me and what wasn't. And in all fairness, and I've shared that in a lot of lives, that's actually when I started seeing a shift in my business. The moment I actually started listening to my own guidance and figuring out what was aligned for me, what was my own unique path to success, that's when I actually started attracting clients and making money and having a great time doing it, rather than more or less struggling through it, being confused, and really not having an enjoyable time of it. So that's the thing you have to figure out, is their path might not be your path. And there's a lot of folks in the coaching program I'm in who are actually following to a T what they're supposed to do, doing an amazing job following the strategy perfectly and getting no result. So it's not actually about just doing it right. It's about doing what is right for you. Because you can do something right, but if it's not right for you, you're not going to get anywhere with it. And that's how we end up, because us, a lot of the people I work with are sensitive, they're empathic, um, they're, they just want to help, they want to serve, but that's a soul drainer. to keep doing things, keep putting effort that leads nowhere. It's going to drain your soul. It's going to drain your confidence. It's going to drain your sense of trust. And then in the end, what's going to happen is you're not going to serve. You're not going to actually have your brilliance out there, and the world is going to miss out. So let me see here. The other, I'm looking at my notes. The other thing I will say is this, and this was I have another coach that I work with who is an extremely successful woman as well. And I heard her say somebody in our group meeting asked her about another influencer out there, another coach and another strategy. And this coach looked genuinely confused. She's like, I have no idea who that is. And, the group of us, we all knew who that person was. And what she said to us was, I don't follow anybody else. I stay focused on me. I stay focused on what's working for me. I stay focused on where I'm going. I don't care what anybody else is doing. I get nothing in my email. I have maybe a couple people that I follow that I really love and I really trust and they inspire me. Everybody else is noise. And that's how I realized partially that once people are successful, they actually know that that's what they're supposed to do. They just don't teach you how to get there yourself. So here's a tip. When you're trying to grow your business, when you're trying to get more clients, when you're trying to make connection, when you're trying to have clarity and figure out like what your message is and how to get your message, this is the tip. I want you, before you do anything, almost like every morning, if you have a journaling practice, this is a great thing to do during your journaling practice. But if you have an idea, or if somebody tells you to do something, I want you to ask yourself, does this feel like me? Does this feel right to me? Does this feel enjoyable and exciting to me? And I want you to drop your attention, not stay up there, but drop your attention into your heart, drop your attention into your gut, and pay attention to your breath. The breath is a huge, there's other thing. I teach my clients all sorts of ways to connect to their inner guidance, but this is an easy one. The breath is a really easy way to figure out whether something feels right or not. If when you're taking a breath, it feels expanded, it feels easy, it feels like you can take in a lot of air, and it just feels right in your body, then that's a yes. If when you're taking a deep breath, it feels constricted, like somebody's sitting on your chest, and like your body doesn't feel right, that's a no. And I think, hey, Nancy, and I see Sharon too. Hey, Sharon. You get better at reading yourself the more you do it. But every morning, does this feel like me? Does this feel right? Every time you get something you want to try. Does this feel enjoyable? Does this feel exciting? Drop your attention into your heart, feel your breath, and see if you get a yes or a no. If you get a no, then this is the next question. What can I do today to connect with a few people, with some ideal clients, to share my message, to have clarity, to move forward in some way that's going to move the needle and be enjoyable, creative, and simple? What's something I can do that's going to be enjoyable, creative, and simple, and is going to move the needle for me? And this is your compass. This is your way to making money with a lot more ease and a lot faster. Because then you're going to be human. You're not going to be awkward. You're going to go on a live, or you're going to reach out to someone, and it's going to be you, and it's going to feel real. It's going to feel good, and it's going to feel real and good for you, but it's also going to feel real and good for the person you're connecting with. So that's my tip. Just be aware that everybody's got good intentions out there, but they are teaching you what has worked for them. They are not teaching you how to figure out what has worked and what is going to work for you. And that is why so many of us are struggling. So many of us are stuck. So many of us are spinning our wheels and being stuck in our head and feeling overwhelmed and getting nowhere and being frustrated and having our confidence slowly drained out of us. Stop spinning, stop chasing, and check everything in you. And then if this feels interesting and you want support with that, you want support figuring out what your yes and your no feels like, you want support figuring out what is your own unique path, your own aligned, intuitive, inspired way to success, to money, to unlocking your own brilliance and sharing it powerfully and fully with the world out there, then reach out to me. Let's get on a free session, that's Soulful Success Breakthrough Sessions. Let's brainstorm together. Let's explore where you're stuck. Let's explore what actually feeds your soul and would feel exciting to you. And let's put a blueprint, your own unique blueprint, together to soulful success. You can just put brainstorm or hashtag brainstorm in the comments. You can message me. I love to do this stuff. So use me and let's have a good time and let's figure out how to bring a lot more soulful people out there to share their message, because the world needs it. The world needs a lot of us to just be out there and share powerfully what we know and what we do in our sacred work. And the world needs us to do it in a way that's sustainable, in a way that's going to not only feel good to us, but also create financial freedom, financial stability, and time freedom. You know, we want to do this so that we can enjoy our lives in all the different ways. All right, folks, that's it. I've been blabbling for 20 minutes. I am off. Have a wonderful week. And I will talk to you soon. And thanks to those of you who are here.